for Ahab the son of Omri, he became king over Israel in the 38th year of Asa, the king of Judah. And Ahab the son of Omri continued to reign over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab the son of Omri proceeded to do worse in the eyes of Jehovah than all those who were prior to him. And it came about that as if it were the most trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, he now took his wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians, and began to go and serve Baal and to bow down to him.
May you have peace, Elijah, my father.
And may you too have peace, Obadiah, my son.
Have you come to Samaria with some good word for us from Jehovah?
And what good word could there be from Jehovah? Now that Ahab has become king, has he not already proceeded to do worse in the eyes of Jehovah than all those who were prior to him?
It's true, my father.
And now, as if it were the most trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, he's taken his wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians, and he's begun to go and serve Baal and bow down to him.
It had been my wish that Ahab would have turned from the ways of his father Omri and served Jehovah.
You have done well as steward of the house of Ahab, and he has put his confidence in you, even though you are a worshiper of the true God Jehovah.
But I haven't made this known to him. It isn't wise in Israel to worship the true God Jehovah in the open. Nevertheless, I cannot serve the golden calves of Jeroboam and Omri, nor can I serve the god Baal of Ahab. I could not serve any other than the true God.
You are a discreet man, Obadiah. Nevertheless, take care. Jezebel is not a woman to tolerate interference, whether it be in her pursuit of the worship of the Baals or of Ashtoreth, of whom her father Ethbaal was priest.
It's true, Elijah, and I fear for our people. She loves only herself and will stop at nothing to do according to her own good pleasure.
Jehovah is not a God to be treated with disrespect. Ahab is certain to bring calamity upon himself and upon the people by unequally yoking himself with this pagan daughter of a priest of pagan gods. The word has come even into Gilead of Ahab's offensiveness with which he has offended Jehovah, the God of Israel. But see now, Ahab has just come into the valley with that false prophet Zedekiah, son of Kenana, and another one who appears to be a court official.
Yes, it's Mattanah, court official to Ahab.
Then you must go. I have a word from Jehovah for Ahab. It isn't good that he see you with me. It would serve no purpose and might endanger your life. Go on ahead of him, and I'll wait over by the rock till he approaches.
It's well, Elijah, my father. And may Jehovah bless you.
And may he watch over those who are his own in Israel.
Even so.
Ahab, king of Israel and Samaria, turn aside, please. I have a word for you.
Who is this one who commands the king of Israel to turn aside?
It's Elijah the Tishbite, from the inhabitants of Gilead. He is a prophet of the true God Jehovah.
Prophet of the true God indeed.
And what is one lone prophet of Jehovah doing in Samaria?
You speak well, Ahab. Is it not because of the fornications and sorceries of Jezebel, the wife whom you've taken from among the Sidonians, that all Israel has become offensive to Jehovah? And is not Jezebel seeking out the true prophets of Jehovah, that she may cut them off from the land?
Are you not afraid, then, to approach the king and speak defiantly in his presence?
It is not I that defies the king. It is the king who defies the Most High God.
Guard your tongue, prophet, or the king will do to you.
Elijah, what is it that you would say to the king?
Is it not enough that Jehovah has already revealed himself to your father Omri and to all the kings that preceded him? Even to Jeroboam the son of Nebat, whom Jehovah himself made king over the 10 tribes of Israel.
You have gone far enough, prophet. It is not...
Can you not be quiet, Zedekiah? The king is able to decide
Restrain
whether he will listen
yourself,
to the prophet.
Zedekiah.
But Jeroboam began to act worse than all those who had happened to be prior to him. And he went and made for himself another god and molten images to offend Jehovah. and it is Jehovah that he casts behind his back. And when Jeroboam lay down with his fathers, and Nadab his son became king over Israel, and went on walking in the way of his father, and in his sin with which he caused Israel to sin, did not Baasha, according to the word of Jehovah's prophet Ahijah, begin to conspire against Nadab and get to strike him down, and begin to reign in place of him? And as soon as Baasha became king, did he not strike down all the house of Jeroboam? And did not Jehovah speak also against Baasha, on account of all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, with which they had sinned, and with which they caused Israel to sin? And did not Zimri do to Baasha and his house all that Baasha had done to Jeroboam and his house?
It was no act of God. It was the result of wicked and
Zedekiah?
violent men.
And you yourself well know, O king, that Zimri became king for just 7 days in Tirzah. And when the people had heard that Zimri had conspired and also struck down the king, then they proceeded to make your father, Omri, the chief of the army, king over all Israel on that day. And you yourself well know, O king, that Omri your father kept doing what was bad in the eyes of Jehovah, and came to do worse than all who were prior to him. And now, O king, why would you walk in the footsteps of Omri, and Zimri, and Elah, and Baasha, and Nadab, and Jeroboam, against whom Jehovah rose up in his anger and annihilated because of the offenses which they committed against him, and the sins with which they caused all Israel to sin?
Enough, Elijah. I know what you say is true about those kings who preceded me, but I myself have not lifted up my hand against anyone. It is the people themselves who have turned away from Jehovah, and it is because of the people that I have made an alliance with King Ethbaal of Sidonia, and have taken to wife his daughter Jezebel. See, I forgive you for what you have said. Go your way in peace, in order that you might not bring ostracism upon Israel.
Well spoken, O king. Return to Gilead, prophet,
Must
and speak
Jehovah
there
yet
whatever.
prove to you too, O king, that he is not a God to be treated with disrespect? As Jehovah the God of Israel, before whom I do stand, is living, there will occur during these years neither dew nor rain, except at the order of my word. And all the springs and all the torrent valleys will dry up. Grass will wither and die, and your cattle, and your sheep, and your horses, and your mules will have no food. And you yourself and all the people must come to know that Jehovah is the true God.
Jehovah now came to Elijah, saying, Go away from here, and you must turn your way eastward, and conceal yourself at the torrent valley of Kerith, that is east of the Jordan. And it must occur that from the torrent valley you should drink, and the ravens I shall certainly command to supply you food there. Immediately he went and did according to the word of Jehovah. But it came about at the end of some days that the torrent valley became dry, because there had occurred no downpour upon the earth. The word of Jehovah now came to him, saying, Rise up, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and you must dwell there. Look, I shall certainly command there a woman, a widow, to supply you food.
How true is the saying, a prophet is without honor in his own country. Nevertheless, the ways of Jehovah are strange. Why should he send me for sustenance into the territory of Sidon, the land of Jezebel, wicked enemy of my people? Still, if he could keep me supplied with food these days through the ministry of the raven, why can he not move even some woman, a widow, from among the unclean people of the land of Jezebel? But are there not widows also in Israel? Yet he has sent me only to Zarephath. Ah, there's a woman gathering sticks. I'll put her to the test. You are a woman of Zarephath?
Yes, my lord. I am a widow, and this is my only son.
Please, get me a sip of water in a vessel that I may drink.
At once, my lord.
And, please, get me a bit of bread in your hand.
My lord, as Jehovah your God is living, I have no round cake, but a handful of flour in the large jar, and a little oil in the small jar, and here I am, gathering up a few pieces of wood, and I must go in and make something for myself and my son, and we shall have to eat it and die.
Do not be afraid. Go in. Do according to your word. Only from what is there, make me a small round cake first, and you must bring it out to me. And for yourself and your son, you can make something afterward. For this is what Jehovah the God of Israel has said. The large jar of flour itself will not get exhausted, and the small jar of oil itself will not fail, until the day of Jehovah's giving a downpour upon the surface of the ground.
If you are indeed a man of the true God, then the word that you have spoken will certainly prove to be true. For I believe the God of Israel has stopped up the heavens for these many days, so that there has been no rain in all the land. So, please, rest here until I return, and I shall do according to your word.
So she went and did according to Elijah's word, and she continued to eat, she together with him and her household. And it came about after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness came to be so severe that there was no breath left in him.
What is it, my son? Why are you not in bed? Are you feeling better?
Oh,
Oh, my son, what is it? What has happened?
Oh, my son, oh, no. Oh, no, my
How is the boy?
son. What have I to do with you, O man of the true God? You have come to me to bring my error to mind, and to put my son to death. Oh.
Give me your son.
My son, my son.
O Jehovah, my God, is it also upon the widow with whom I am residing as an alien that you must bring injury by putting her son to death? O Jehovah, my God, please cause the soul of this child to come back within him. Jehovah, my God, cause the soul of this child to come back within him. O Jehovah, my God, the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob, cause the soul of this child to come back within him, please. Oh, Jehovah be praised.
Oh, man of the true God, what am I doing in your rough chamber? And lying on your couch? Have I been sleeping?
It is well, my son. It is well.
I must go down at once. My mother told me not to trouble you.
It is well, my son. I brought you here.
You did? I don't remember it. Was I asleep?
Yes, my son. You were sleeping. But Jehovah has remembered you and has rewarded the faith of your mother. But come, she will be glad to see you have awakened.
See, your son is alive.
Why are you crying? Don't you feel well?
Oh, my son! My son! You are indeed alive! Jehovah has remembered me for good and has restored you to me. Now, indeed, I do know that you are a man of God, and that Jehovah's word in your mouth is true.
And it came about after many days that Jehovah's own word came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself to Ahab, as I am determined to give rain upon the surface of the ground.
A little more and we shall all perish.
The famine is indeed severe, my lord. More of the cattle died yesterday for lack of water and green grass. The people themselves are without food. It is only on the table of my lord the king that anything at all remains to eat.
I know, Obadiah. If only we could find Elijah. He has put a curse upon the land. It has been 3 years now, and no downpour has occurred. But Elijah has disappeared from off the surface of the ground.
We have searched in every nation according to the word of my lord the king, but no one has seen or heard of Elijah's whereabouts.
May he perish with his bad deeds, even as the whole land is perishing because of his word. But now go through the land to all the springs of water, and to all the torrent valleys. Perhaps we may find green grass, that we may preserve the horses and mules alive, and may not have any more of the beasts cut off. You go down this valley, and up through the hills toward the setting of the sun. And I, for my part, will pass over through the cleft in the rocks there, and on around toward the foot of the mountain, and we shall meet there.
It is well, my lord. Even as you say, it shall be done. Is this you, my lord Elijah?
It is I. Go, say to your lord, here is Elijah.
Oh, what sin have I committed that you should be putting your servant into the hand of Ahab to put me to death? As Jehovah your God is living, there is not a nation or kingdom where my Lord is not sent to look for you. After they had said, "He is not here," he made the kingdom and the nations swear that they could not find you. And now you are saying, "Go, say to your Lord, here is Elijah." And it is bound to occur that when I myself go from you, then the Spirit of Jehovah itself shall carry you away to where I shall not know. And I shall have come to tell Ahab, and he will not find you. And he will be bound to kill me, as your servant himself has feared Jehovah from his youth. Has not my Lord been told what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of Jehovah? How I kept some of the prophets of Jehovah hid, 100 men by 50s in a cave, and kept supplying them bread and water. And now you are saying, "Go, say to your Lord, here is Elijah." And he will be bound to kill me.
As Jehovah of armies before whom I do stand is living, today I shall show myself to him.
As you say, my Lord, so let it be.
Accordingly, Obadiah went off to meet Ahab and told him. And so Ahab went to meet Elijah.
Is this you, the bringer of ostracism upon Israel?
I have not brought ostracism upon Israel, but you and the house of your father have, because you men have left the commandments of Jehovah, and you went following the Baals. Have you not yet come to know that Jehovah is the true God in Israel, and that Baal is powerless before him? Is it not according to the word of Jehovah that I spoke to you, saying, there will occur during these years neither dew nor rain, except at the order of my word?
Why then have you returned to trouble us further?
It is because Jehovah has determined to make yet one more test before you, in order that you men may know that he is the only true God in Israel. And now, collect together all Israel to me at Mount Carmel, and also the 450 prophets of Baal, and the 400 prophets of the sacred pole who are eating at the table of Jezebel. And Jehovah will make a test by fire before you and all the people. And the priests of Baal, for their part, must call upon the name of their God. And I, for my part, shall call upon the name of Jehovah. And it must occur that the true God that answers by fire is the true God.
It is good. It shall be done.
And Ahab proceeded to send among all the sons of Israel and collect the prophets together at Mount Carmel. And afterwards, at the conclusion of the matter, Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done.
It is my lord the king entering the courtyard, my lady, and just in time to escape the downpour.
I know it, you little fool. Don't I have ears of my own? And I can look outside, too, if I care to. But don't stand there like one of the stupid women. Run! Bring wine and bread. The king will be hot and thirsty after his long ride from Mount Carmel.
At once, my lady.
are the wisest of all men, O king. And have you returned all the way from Mount Carmel in the great test by fire just to tell me something that I already know? And how did it go with my lord?
Just as I expected.
Then Elijah was shown to be the fool.
On the contrary, it proved to be...
What do you mean, then, just as you expected? It is you who are the fool. Speak. Tell me what happened.
That is just what I was trying to do. As you know, I proceeded to send among all the sons of Israel and collected the prophets together on Mount Carmel. There we were. And then Elijah approached all the people and said, "How long will you be limping upon two different opinions? If Jehovah is the true God, go following him. But if Baal is, go following him." And the people did not say a word in answer to him. And Elijah went on to say to the people, "I myself have been left as a prophet of Jehovah, I alone, while the prophets of Baal are 450 men. Now let them give us 2 young bulls, and let them choose for themselves 1 young bull, and cut it in pieces, and put it upon the wood, but they should not put fire to it. And I myself shall dress the other young bull, and I must place it upon the wood, but I shall not put fire to it. And you must call upon the name of your God, and I for my part shall call upon the name of Jehovah. And it must occur that the true God that answers by fire is the true God." To this all the people answered and said, "The thing is good."
You are a fool, Ahab. Here it is that Elijah put himself in your hand, and what did you do? Kill him as he deserves, even as I said that he must die? No, and not only did you let him go, but you allowed him to dictate to you. You, Ahab, king of Israel, the very terms by which he would make you out to be the fool. But why do you stand there gaping? Get on with your story.
Elijah now said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose for yourselves 1 young bull, and dress it first, because you are the majority, and call upon the name of your God, but you must not put fire to it." Accordingly, they took the young bull that he gave them. Then they dressed it, and they kept calling upon the name of Baal from morning till noon, saying, "O Baal, answer us." But there was no voice, and there was no one answering.
The fools. I'm surrounded by fools.
And they kept limping around the altar that they had made. And it came about at noon that Elijah began to mock them and say, "Call at the top of your voice, for he is a god, for he must be concerned with the matter. And he has excrement and has to go to the privy. Or maybe he's asleep and ought to wake up."
If Elijah were to walk into my hands...
And they began calling at the top of their voices and cutting themselves according to their custom with daggers and with lances until they caused blood to flow out upon them. And it came about that as soon as noon was past, and they continued behaving as prophets until the going up of the grain offering, there was no voice, there was no one answering, there was no paying of attention.
The blundering idiots! Like the stupid ones they are! I'll dismiss them all and acquire priests who are able to perform their duties. Zadok! Zadok, you fool! Why don't you answer when I call?
Excuse me, please, my lady, but Zadok has not yet returned from Mount Carmel.
Speak when you're called, you daughter of a rebellious slave! Now get out!
Perhaps you should listen to the rest, Jezebel. There's more.
Then get on with it, and come to the point.
As you say, Jezebel. At length Elijah said to all the people, "Approach me." So all the people approached him. Then he proceeded to mend the altar of Jehovah that was torn down. So Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom Jehovah's word had come, saying, "Israel is what your name will become." And he went on to build the stones into an altar in the name of Jehovah, and to make a trench of about the area sowed with 2 seah measures of seed all around the altar.
A stupid thing, a trench around an altar.
After that, he put the pieces of wood in order, and he cut the young bull in pieces and placed it upon the pieces of wood. He now said, fill 4 large jars with water, and pour it upon the burnt offering and upon the pieces of wood.
It must be some trick.
Then he said, do it again. So they did it again. But he said, do it a 3rd time. And so they did it a 3rd time. Thus the water went all around the altar, and the trench also he filled with water.
A showy magical trick.
And it came about at the time that the grain offering goes up, that Elijah the prophet began to approach and say, O Jehovah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, today let it be known that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and it is by your word that I have done all these things. Answer me, O Jehovah, answer me, that this people may know that you, Jehovah, are the true God, and you yourself have turned their heart back.
What happened?
At that, the fire of Jehovah came falling and went eating up the burnt offering and the pieces of wood and the stones and the dust, and the water that was in the trench, it licked up.
A trick of magic.
When all the people saw it, they immediately fell upon their faces and said, Jehovah is the true God! Jehovah is the true God!
Stupid people.
Elijah
Follow like
said
fools.
to them, seize the prophets of Baal.
Seize the...
Do not let a single one of them escape. At once they seized them, and Elijah then brought them down to the torrent valley of Kishon and slaughtered them there.
Slaughtered them?
Slaughtered them. All 450 of them. Then Elijah said to me, go up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of the turmoil of a downpour. So I did.
Eating?
Then Elijah sent to me and said further, hitch up and go down that the downpour may not detain you. And so I kept riding and made my way here to Jezreel, and the downpour has begun. The drought is ended, according to the word of Elijah.
Slaughtered. Elijah has done this thing. Elijah has defied me and humiliated me in front of all the people of Israel. It is Elijah that has slaughtered my priests. 450 of them. Send to Elijah and say this. So may the gods do, and so may they add to it, if at this time tomorrow I shall not make your soul like the soul of each one of them.
Elijah became afraid. Consequently, he rose up and began to go for his soul, and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah. Then he left his attendant behind there, and he himself went into the wilderness a day's journey, and at length came and sat down under a certain broom tree.
What is it that Jehovah would have me do? Here I have come this long way, and have not yet encountered him, except as he appeared to me through his angel a day's journey out of Beersheba in the wilderness. There it was I came and sat down under a certain broom tree, and I began to ask that my soul might die, and to say, it is enough. Now, O Jehovah, take my soul away, for I am no better than my forefathers. But there was no answer. So finally I lay down and fell asleep under the broom tree. But look, now an angel was touching me. Then he said to me, rise up, eat. And when I was a round cake upon heated stone and a jug of water. And I began to eat and drink, after which I lay down again. Later, the angel of Jehovah came back a second time and touched me and said, "Rise up, eat, for the journey is too much for you." So I rose up and ate and drank. And I kept going in the power of that nourishment for 40 days and 40 nights as far as here, the mountain of the true God, Horeb. Now, what is it that Jehovah would have me do? Surely he has forgiven me for fleeing in fear from Jezebel. Otherwise, why would he have sent his angel to keep me alive and lead me here, to this mountain? The mountain where he communed with Moses, and where he later revealed himself to all Israel in a heavy cloud and tempest, when the mountain trembled and smoked all over, due to the fact that Jehovah came down upon it in fire. Is it in this place to which I have been led that I am to have an encounter with Jehovah? But see now, let me enter into this cave that I might spend the night here.
What is your business here, Elijah?
I have been absolutely jealous for Jehovah, the God of armies. For the sons of Israel have left your covenant. Your altars they have torn down, and your prophets they have killed with the sword, so that I only am left. And they began looking for my soul to take it away.
Go out, and you must stand on the mountain before Jehovah.
Now indeed, it must be that Jehovah will reveal himself to me.
Jehovah was not in the wind. Jehovah was not in the quaking. Jehovah was not in the fire.
Elijah, come out and stand at the entrance of the cave. What is your business here, Elijah?
I have been absolutely absolutely jealous for Jehovah, the God of armies. For the sons of Israel have left your covenant. Your altars they have torn down, and your prophets they have killed with the sword, so that I only am left, and they begin looking for my soul to take it away.
Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and you must come in and anoint Hazael as king over Syria. And Jehu, the grandson of Nimshi, you should anoint as king over Israel. And Elisha, the son of Shaphat from Abel-Meholah, you should anoint as prophet in place of you. And it must occur that the one escaping from Hazael's sword, Jehu will put to death, and the one escaping from Jehu's sword, Elisha will put to death. And I have let 7,000 remain in Israel, all the knees that have not bent down to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him.
Even so, it shall be done.
Accordingly he went from there and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, and threw his official garment upon him. At that Elisha went following Elijah, and began to minister to him. As for Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, he collected all his military forces together, and also 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots. And he proceeded to go up and lay siege to Samaria and to fight against it. But Ahab, the king of Israel, went out and kept striking down the horses and the chariots. And he struck down the Syrians with a great slaughter. And it came about at the return of the year that Ben-Hadad proceeded to muster the Syrians and to go up to Aphek for battle against Israel.
How does it go with the military forces of the sons of Israel?
It goes the same as it did before, when Ben-Hadad came up and laid siege against Samaria.
Then the Syrians are fleeing as at the first. But why is it, Micaiah, that Ben-Hadad encamped at Aphek this time in the valley, and didn't come into the mountains of Samaria?
It's because the servants of Ben-Hadad said to him after they were struck down at Samaria, "The God of Israel is a God of mountains." That is why they proved stronger than we were. So, on the other hand, let us fight against them on the level land, and see whether we shall not prove stronger than they are.
That's because they don't know the true God.
But when the sons of Israel were mustered and supplied, they went into camp in front of the Syrians like 2 tiny flocks of goats, while the Syrians for their part filled the earth. Nevertheless, Jehovah sent me to the king of Israel to say, "This is what Jehovah has said. For the reason that the Syrians have said, 'Jehovah is a God of mountains, and he is not a God of low plains,' I shall have to give all this great crowd into your hand, and you men will certainly know that I am Jehovah."
Isn't that the same message that you delivered to Ahab the first time?
The 2 messages are one. But the first time, when Syria was put to flight, Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, got to escape upon a horse, together with the horsemen.
This time, however, he is certain to be taken according to the word of Jehovah.
The matter rests with Ahab. Jehovah has spoken the word, but when has Ahab inclined his ear toward the true God, or sought to obey his voice?
Here comes Sheshan, one of the chiefs. Perhaps he has word. How does it go with the sons of Israel, my lord?
The Syrians were routed.
Did all of the great crowd of Syria come into Ahab's hand?
It went this way. On the 7th day, the engagement in battle began,
And the sons of Israel began to strike down each one his man, and they went striking down the Syrians. 100,000 men on foot in one day. And those that were left went fleeing to Aphek, to the city. And the wall came falling down upon 27,000 men that were left.
27,000?
As for Ben-Hadad, he fled and finally came into the city, into the innermost chamber.
Oh, then he escaped out of Ahab's hand again.
No. The servants of Ben-Hadad said to him, "Hear now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are kings of loving kindness. Please, let us carry sackcloth upon our loins and ropes upon our heads, and let us go out to the king of Israel. Perhaps he will preserve your soul alive." And they prevailed upon him.
And so he did come into Ahab's hand.
But Ahab said, "He is my brother."
And he took him up into his chariot and concluded a covenant with him and sent him away.
Oh! As if it were a trivial thing to marry a Baal-worshipping Sidonian. Now he would get under a yoke with the Syrian enemy of God. Is he so foolish as to think God does not see or take account? Hear, my brother. The word of Jehovah has come to me. Strike me, please.
No, I cannot.
It is the word of Jehovah. Strike me, please.
Don't ask me to do this thing, for I cannot strike you.
Then hear this. For the reason that you did not listen to the voice of Jehovah, here you are going away from me, and a lion will certainly strike you down.
Oh!
Micaiah, may you have peace.
Peace to you too, my brother. The word of Jehovah has come to me. Strike me, please, my brother.
Huh? Only at the word of Jehovah will it be done.
Oh.
Are you all right, my brother?
It is well. Go now. I must wait here until the king of Israel passes by.
As you say, my brother. But look, I see the king coming now.
Go at once, then, lest he recognize you and know who I really am. Oh, king! Hear, please, my case for judgment.
Speak your case.
Your servant himself went out into the thick of the battle. And look, a man was leaving the line, and he came bringing a man to me, and then said, "Guard this man. If he should in any way be missing, your soul will also have to take the place of his soul, or else a talent of silver you will weigh out." And it came about that as your servant was active here and there, why, he himself was gone.
Thus your own judgment is. You yourself have decided. See now, is this one not from among the prophets?
He is, my lord. He is Micaiah, a prophet of the true God.
Why is it then that you have spoken to me like this?
Inasmuch as the word of Jehovah has come to you these 2 times, saying, "Here I am giving all this great crowd into your hand today." And inasmuch as you have shown preference to Jehovah's enemy, and have in fact entered into an unequal yoke with this one devoted to destruction by making a covenant with him, therefore this is what Jehovah has said. For the reason that you have let go out of your hand the man devoted to me for destruction, your soul must take the place of his soul, and your people the place of his people.
At that the king of Israel went on his way toward his house, sullen and dejected, and came to Samaria.